It was something I was well used to because I come from a very tiny village in a tiny country called Northern Ireland. So I was used to growing up in little tiny houses. But what's interesting about the tiny house of Bag End, where Bilbo lives, is that the dwarves, who are quite tiny themselves, they find that very tiny because they're slightly taller than hobbits. So it felt like people were getting in our way the whole time, that we couldn't move, that we could only eat in a very constrained way. So it sort of meant that we had fun, but we also wanted to fight. My favourite character apart from Bofur is Gandalf, I think, because he's such a magical character. And Ian McKellen, the actor who plays Gandalf, is such a magical man. He's a lot older than Wild Bill 7, I think. He's 73 now, Ian McKellen, but he acts and works like a young person because he's got such an incredible enthusiasm and energy, and in the same way that Gandalf is rather magical and has a huge impact on all the other characters, Ian McKellen as an actor had a massive impact on all of us, and he taught me more about acting in a year than I'd learnt in my life. I love being a dwarf because it gave me an opportunity to be in the Hobbit and to go with my family and my daughters to New Zealand, the most magical, amazing country in the world. Being a dwarf, I got to go to work with Peter Jackson. And there are only 13 dwarves in The Hobbit, and I got to be one of them. But I would have preferred to have been an elf because they're tall and beautiful, and they don't have to wear the costumes that we had to wear, and they don't have to have all the prosthetics. They just get 2 ears stuck on them, and that's it. So I would have liked to be an elf, yes. And there were many strange things that happened on set. I think when we did the very first scene where all the dwarves are together and we have the kind of the food and the singing and the drinking, my favourite thing was on the very first take, from one end of the table I had to throw an egg to Bomber, my brother, played by Stephen Hunter, and the idea was that maybe he'd catch it in his mouth, but Peter always said, oh, we can do that in sort of post-production. And on the first take, I got the egg, and I threw it quite a long way, and Bomber just went, and I went in, and he ate it. Well, I think that was one of the great sort of magical things that Peter's able to do. I mean, it wasn't all done in post-production, it's just a lot of the sets that we worked on. I mean, for every one set, there were maybe 2 or 3. So sometimes we'd walk onto a set and the chairs would be bigger than normal, the doors, the windows would be higher up. The characters, we had doubles, like very tall people working beside us. So it was a mixture of technical and real. Well, I'd have to choose the colours of Ireland. Green, white and gold.
Okay.
And because I come from Northern Ireland, I'll probably have to put a little bit of red, white and blue in as well, just to make everyone happy. Well, you know, if you want to be an actor, I suppose no one else can stop you. I mean, but you have to work hard. You have to be lucky. You have to work hard. I mean, yeah, just try and be truthful. Acting is about truth, but then of course life is, and that's our biggest challenge. I've spent an entire life hobbiting around. If hobbiting around means that you don't really know what you're doing, I've spent 48 years doing that, and I hope I get another 48 years to do the same thing, because there's nothing better than skipping around not entirely sure what you're doing.